Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Glad to be back with you tonight. And I thought I'd read a Berenstain Bear one for the night. Berenstain Bears learn about strangers. And here's the first picture. Brother and sister bear, who live with their mama and papa in a big tree house down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country, looked quite a lot alike. Except for the fact that brother was a boy cub and sister was a girl cub. They were alike in many ways. They even thought they liked each other's hobbies. Brother loved to play ball and fly model airplanes. Sister had all sorts of special interests. They enjoyed many of the same: bike riding, soccer, baseball, frisbee, and just getting out and enjoying nature. I like a lot of those things too. Yes, brother and sister bear were alike in many ways, but in some important ways they were very different. Brother bear was very cautious, careful, and a little wary, nervous around strangers. Sister bear, on the other hand, wasn't the least bit that way. She was friendly to a fault. Just about everybody that came her way got a big hello. Hello, butterfly. Hello, frog. Hello, truck driver. Hello, lady who's been shopping. She is friendly. Brother bear worried about sister's free and easy way with strangers. Strangers weren't a problem for him. Not talking to strangers suited him just fine. But friendly to a fault, sister was different. She talked to everybody. Hello? Hi? Hello? Sister, said brother, you're going to have to stop that. Stop what? She asked. Talking to strangers. It's not a good idea. Why? She wanted to know. Why shouldn't I talk to strangers? What harm is there in it? Is there something wrong with strangers? Said Big Brother, thinking about it for a moment. Those aren't questions for a brother. Those are questions for a mama or a papa bear. Sister bear, I'm glad you asked those questions, said Papa Bear in his deepest and most serious voice. The reason you should never talk to a stranger is never, ever take presents from a stranger, and never, ever go anywhere with a stranger. That is dangerous. What is dangerous about it? She asked wide-eyed. What can happen? Oh dear, thought Mama Bear. I do hope Papa can tell Sister Bear about strangers without making everything scary. All sorts of things, Papa said. Here, look at the newspaper. As she looked at it, her eyes got wider and wider. Bear Country News. Stranger bothers cub. Missing cub found. Chief Grizzly questions a stranger. I hope you're paying attention to all this, called Papa to Brother Bear. Yes, Papa, said Brother, looking up from his airplane. When Sister asked for a bedtime story that evening, Papa said, "Of course I have just the right one." It was an old book that Papa kept since he was a cub. The story was called Silly Goose and Wily Fox. It told how Silly Goose got into a conversation with Wily Fox, and before Silly knew what had happened, she found herself in Wily's lair. This is how the story ended. Now, if she was in his lair, he planned on eating her. Later, when somebody tapped her on the shoulder, she jumped a mile. Even though it was just Mama. How was everything at the village, Green? Asked Mama on the way home in the car. Sister sat in the front with Mama, and Brother rode in the back with a barrel of apples. All right, I guess, said Sister, but there were so many strangers. Later at home, when Mama and Sister were getting ready to make applesauce, Mama said, "You know, what Papa told you was quite right. It's not a good idea to talk to strangers or accept presents or rides from them." But, she continued, that doesn't mean that all strangers are bad. Why, chances are there wasn't a single person in that green that would harm a fly, much less a cub like you. The trouble is, well, it's like this barrel of apples. There's an old saying that goes, there'll always be a couple of bad apples in every barrel. That's the way it is with strangers. Cubs have to be careful because of the few bad apples. Look, said Sister, I found one. It's all bumpy and has a strange shape. Well, it certainly is strange looking, said Mama, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You can't always tell from the outside which is a bad apple. She cut it in half. See? It's fine on the inside. There she is. Now, here's one that looks fine on the inside, she said. See if this one's good. But inside it's all wormy. Ugh, said Sister. What's up, said Brother. A bad apple, said Sister. Double said Brother. Hey, I'm going to the meadow to fly my new pusher plane. Want to come? Sure, Sister said. I can pick some wildflowers. She felt much better now, more like her old friendly self. There she is right there. The pusher plane was a great success, and the cubs were about to head home when someone drove into the meadow with a big orange, beautiful orange and green, model plane. Wait, said Brother, I want to watch. It's radio controlled. Sister went back to picking wildflowers, but before she knew it, Brother was talking to a stranger. For that's what he was, a stranger, no matter how big and beautiful his radio-controlled plane was. She dropped her wildflowers and ran to them. I'm going to send it up and follow in the car, the stranger was saying. Want to come along? Wow, said Brother. And he would have if Sister hadn't grabbed his arm and said, "Don't you dare." The stranger drove off following his airplane, and Sister ran home shouting, "Brother, talk to a stranger! Brother, talk to a stranger!" "But it was a big orange and green radio control job," said Brother. "That doesn't matter," said Papa. "We have rules about strangers, and they're important. We have rules about tattletales, too," said Brother, glaring at Sister. Sister wasn't tattling. Tattling is telling just to be mean, explained Mama. And Sister was telling because she loves you and was worried. "Do you think that fellow was a bad apple?" asked Brother. "Probably not," said Mama. "That's right," said Sister. "Most folks are friendly and nice and wouldn't hurt a fly, but you have to be careful just in case." "Speaking of apples," said Mama, "how about some of this applesauce I just made?" As they were having a dish of Mama's delicious applesauce, Brother and Sister thought about what they had learned that day. There was quite a lot to think about. For Brother and Sister's rules for cubs, turn the page. So I'm going to read that. This is what I'm going to read. 1. Never talk to a stranger. 2. Never take candy or gifts from a stranger. That's a good rule. 3. Never go any place with a stranger. Another good rule. 4. Don't keep secrets from your parents, especially if someone asks you to. 5. Your body is your own personal property and nobody else's business, especially your private parts. When you're real little, of course, Mama and Papa may help you in the bath or in the bathroom, and your doctor is in the body business and will have to examine you from time to time, even when you're not little. But other people, no. 6. Use common sense. We can't have rules for everything. Common sense is what keeps us safe by telling us what to do in situations that are not covered by rules. So, those are a lot of good rules. And I would like you to remember not to talk to strangers, never to take anything from them, and never to go with them anywhere. Sometimes some of the bad apples, the bad strangers, have tricked kids by saying things like, "I'm looking for my puppy, could you help me?" Or, "I've got a cute little puppy in my car, do you want to see it?" those were just tricks to get the kids there. So I wanted to warn you about that type of trick. Like Mama Bear said, though, most people are good. We just can't tell when we're seeing them. So the best thing is just to be careful and stay close to your mom or dad if you can, and just do that. So it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to say I love you, I really do. But more importantly, God loves you, and He always will. Good night.